It has been a month since we returned to Respatha. In that time, I have learned to control my abilities to the point I can produce fire at will, ignite things, and even throw fire. It seems that for me, channeling the espers is a matter of feeling the fire within me and imagining what it will do. Besswin has not been able to do more than what he discovered while on our trip. He seems to sense both myself and Jorun within the city. After he and Garrem did a little experimenting, it seems that there are limits. He can vaguely sense Jorun, and even point to the direction he is located. But without being within 100 paces, he can't say more. We have not seen or talked to Jorun since we left. Garrem thought it would be best to wait and talk to him after we could show that we truly had discovered something. Garrem seems to think that after all he had put Jorun through, it would take a great deal of convincing and some strong evidence. We now sit here in Garrem's study waiting. Sid seems to have convinced Jorun to come speak with us again, but said Jorun was reluctant to do so. I can't help but feel sorry for him in some ways. After seeing what was left of his village and knowing what he went through, I understand why he felt everything was so hopeless. He and Garrem had tried, and they had failed. I am convinced my task today is to get him to find that hope again.
Now remember, boys, I am sure even after all these years, Jorun still blames me for much of what happened all those years ago, and rightfully so. He is skeptical, and may not believe we have made any progress. Our role today is to at least show him we have. We don't have to convince him just yet. Just plant the seed, as it were. I am sure he will come around with time. Now, Besswin, remember, your ability is the hardest to show. Remember what we talked about and what we planned. All we need to do is to show him that I was right about the espers, and that you didn't go through anything extreme to make it happen. I am sure, once he has time to think on it, he will change his mind. While we wait, Besswin, have you found anything new in those books I gave you to read?
No, nothing beyond what we talked about last week. I really did enjoy learning about what happened after the last war, but not much about any other living seals than you already knew. I tried to see if I could find the village Rorik was from, and I could not.
Who is Rorik?
He is the one Garrem told us about, that had more than one ability. Garrem wants to see if we can find anything on how that happened. If we do, maybe we can do more ourselves.
Besswin is correct. In the years since I discovered this tale, I have never been able to learn if he was simply born with more than one ability, or if it came from some other means. If we can find the answer, then maybe we can determine if you both can do more than you are capable of now. Besswin, after we finished our talk with Jorun, I would like to try looking in the restricted section again. I think it will be more than fine if you accompany me. 4 eyes are better than 2 after all. Come in, Jorun. We've been expecting you. Jorun, I wanted to start off by saying I am sorry. I am sorry for what I put you through. I was careless and thought I knew more than I did. As Besswin, Elthan, and I were traveling, I realized the opportunity I had truly lost when we stopped working together. I don't say this only because I want to work with you again. I say it because it is true. If I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have put you through all of that. I hope you will accept my apology. It has been years, and I never really did apologize properly for what you went through.
You will have to excuse me if I'm a little suspicious, Garrem. It is not every day that you choose to start off a conversation with an apology. Looks like Elthan and Besswin made it back in one piece. What did he have you do? Did he set a building on fire with you inside and let you try to find your way out? Maybe poison your food enough to make you violently ill?
It was actually a pleasant trip other than when the hounds showed up.
Hounds? How did you had a run-in with hounds? Garrem, how many people died for this waste of time?
I would hardly call it a waste of time, but we did lose 7 men that night. Not a loss I take lightly either. They were good men.
How did you only lose 7? I've seen one hound alone kill 12 seasoned men, and from the sounds of it, there was more than one.
There were 2 of them, actually, and if it wasn't for Elthan here, it would have easily been more than 7 deaths.
How did Elthan play a part in all this? I've seen you in the practice yard. I have a hard time believing your skills are enough to bring down even one hound without dying yourself.
He did not use a sword. Remember how I told you that he was able to take down that hound on his own when he was rescued?
Yes, but you said that was purely by chance. His powers manifested to save his life. How could he do that again? Only an idiot would try to take on a hound and count on trying to do the same thing twice.
While I did not approve of Elthan's choice at the time, he did save quite a few lives that day. Elthan, I think it is time you showed him.
While we were on our trip, we started to learn to control our abilities. Garrem calls it channeling the espers. It's how I killed the hound. I can mostly control it now. When we first started trying, I couldn't. Honestly, when I faced the hound, I didn't know if it was going to work.
And I told him how reckless that was.
It was indeed. And what did learning how to channel the espers cost you? What madness did Garrem put you through?
We tried something he called meditation. We just focused our minds, and it began to happen.
And what about you, Besswin? What can you do?
Perhaps it would be better to demonstrate before we explain. Now, Besswin, put that blindfold on and make sure that your ears are plugged. We wouldn't want Jorun to think that you can hear him. While he is doing that, I want you to pick a place in the room, anywhere you would like. When he is ready, you will move to that place in the room. Besswin, can you hear me? See, no response. Now, Jorun, move anywhere you would like in the room, and Elthan will go tap his shoulder. He will be able to point to your location.
I didn't know you invited me here to play children's games, Garrem.
We just ask that you humor us for a moment and keep an open mind. That is all, Jorun. Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I will ever be. The sooner we finish, the better. You piqued my interest with Elthan's fire, but this...
Now, Elthan, go ahead and give him a tap. You see, Jorun, he points right to you. Now, why don't you move around and give him a little bit of a challenge? That's it. You see, he can sense you even without seeing you.
Well, clearly he can see through his blindfold.
I can assure you he cannot. Elthan, will you kindly fetch that sack? Jorun, would you like to look at it?
I can't say I have been fond of things covering my head since that time you...
Let's put all that aside. I can assure you that there is no way he can see you, especially with a sack and a blindfold. Elthan, please place this on Besswin and spin him around gently a few times. Make sure he is not facing us when you stop. See, he is able to point straight towards you. Besswin can sense other people that can also channel the espers as well. Elthan, go ahead and help Besswin take all of that off. He claims he also was able to sense the hounds in our camp before they attacked. We have yet to test it, but I believe he most likely did. He can also sense when someone is channeling. Do you remember when he mentioned that feeling of a buzzing sensation? I am convinced that his powers were beginning to manifest. I took them to a place where the espers were strong. It is a lot to explain, but I am more than happy to do so if you would like. Suffice it to say, we were able to awaken Besswin's ability, which now seems to be constant. Jorun, I am sure that if you do the same, you will experience something as well. It is all painless, I promise. These two can attest. You have nothing to lose in this endeavor. The whole trip will only take about a week and a half or so.
I've seen enough. Garrem, I know this is your apartments, but do you mind leaving us for a moment? I want to ask these two some questions.
Of course, Jorun. In fact, I might as well make another trip to the restricted section in the library. Besswin, once you're finished, feel free to come find me. I plan on doing a little more research. I am convinced we will find what we are looking for at some point if we look hard enough. Elthan and Jorun, you are more than welcome to join in our search if you would like. I can give you all the details later.
Now that he is gone, I want you two to be honest with me. What did he exactly do to you two? It can't be as simple as all that.
Everything we told you is true, I promise. We simply spent some time concentrating on things then it happened. It took me less time than it did for Elthan. But I didn't have such a terrifying event to deal with. Elthan, hopefully that didn't offend you.
Of course not, Besswin. Jorun, he is right. That was all we did. I think the toughest part for me was having to remember when the hound attacked me and when we were rescued. It was something I really didn't want to remember, but Besswin helped me through it. I know it was not a good idea confronting the hound when we were attacked, but at least my powers worked.
It was a bad idea, but you saved lives that night. I have heard of hounds killing as many as 17 men. They were not seasoned fighters, but hounds are very hard to kill from what I've heard. I am not a fighter, but I've heard plenty of stories. They roam the blighted lands, but are not encountered often. Most of the creatures that live out there will only attack in large groups or at night when they find easy prey. Hounds are a different story. If you had not stopped them, they may have attacked the wagons too, and surely more would have perished. Well, if what you two say is true, then maybe I will take one of these trips with Garrem. Would you two be willing to accompany me? I'm ashamed to admit it, but Garrem can be quite persuasive at times. I was a willing participant in all those experiments we did years ago, but Garrem was very convincing, or I would never have gone along with it. I still think we were in a losing battle, but I've been thinking about what you said, Elthan. I was wrong. I spent many years blaming myself for what happened the day that I was taken. I felt I had lost so much, but you are right. I can't let the sacrifice of those who died mean nothing. Count me in.
We are all stronger together. I may not know what is to come of all this, but I know that the three of us meeting is important.
As far as I know, from what Garrem has told me, there has never been more than one living seal at a time from what he has found out. Maybe you're right. I think what Garrem says is true. Our world is trying to fight back against Malith. The three of us alive at the same time, and your father, Elthan. That makes 4. Something tells me It is important. It may also mean that time is running out.
Besswin, why don't you see if you can find me any more books by Kalen? I remember he wrote something about the living seals. Mostly just theories on why they exist, but he may have written something I have missed.
Would you like them on the table with you?
That would be wonderful. Oh, what is this book?
Sorry, I must have grabbed that one by accident. I can put it back.
Before you do, let's take a look at it and see what it is about. It appears to have no title. My word, this is a first-hand account of someone that has spent time with Rorik. This man even rode with him to fight Malith. This is important indeed, and it may be exactly what we are looking for. How in the world did you find this?
I may have pulled it from the shelf by accident. I don't remember where it was, to be honest. We've gone through so many books I lost track.
Well, either way, I've never seen or read this book before. I think I will need a little time with it if you don't mind. Just from the little bit I have seen, this reads almost like a journal. Besswin, my boy, luck is on your side. Why don't you take some time for yourself and meet me here in about 2 hours?
Did you find anything important in that book?
More than you know, Besswin. I was right. This is a journal written by a man named Dorian, and it details his time with Rorik. It appears to be from Cairnhold, one of the great cities to fall to the blighting. I am not sure how it managed to make it into our library, but it mentions his time studying Rorik. It also mentions that Rorik had come from a town about 3 weeks' journey from Cairnhold, and like you, he was rescued from a group of seekers. From what Dorian writes, he did not have all 3 powers when Rorik came to Cairnhold. This much I already suspected, but there is a mention of Rorik traveling to a location that is not named, but there is a map. Dorian took a great deal of notes during his time with Rorik, but it does not detail how Rorik managed to gain more powers. I was able to compare the map to some very old merchant maps. It seems it was quite a distance away. It was marked as a safe haven of sorts. It would take us at least a month and a half to travel there, but I suspect it will be at least 2.
Well, if the merchants can travel there, I'm sure we could as well, right?
That is the trouble, Besswin. Merchants barely travel away from the city anymore. The routes they use were becoming too dangerous for them. More often, they were attacked by bandits or even just disappeared. It became risky business for them to travel. Many decided it was not worth the money they were gaining from selling their goods. I doubt there are many, if any, left that still travel past the nearest towns. Those are only a few days' travel from the city and are under our protection, well hidden from bandits. We cannot farm much within these walls, so we rely on the surrounding villages to help grow what we need. They are well protected by garrisons and walls. Past those, it becomes difficult for anyone other than a well-armed party of soldiers. They are not easy prey for bandits, and not worth the trouble. But we have no reason to go much further at this point. If we were trying to bring in more people, they are just more mouths to feed. Not that we struggle for food, but we surely would if we were to grow much beyond this point. The blighting has even impacted our city as well. The farms are producing less. Well, with all that being said, I would like to talk to Sid about all of this. The location we are talking about is on a very large intersection. I am sure its connection to the Espers will be stronger than the place we last visited. If Rorik was able to unlock some new abilities there, I think it is worth the risk. What do you think, Besswin?
I agree. Maybe it will help us. If Respatha is being affected by the blighting too, then maybe we can at least learn something. Garrem, you said there had never been this many living seals at the same time. Something tells me it means something. Are we running out of time?
I was hoping to keep from worrying you and Elthan. I wanted the decision you made to be purely your own. Besswin, I feel we are nearing a critical moment. Mankind is at our weakest, and the blighting has a stranglehold on everything. I don't feel it is just happenstance that you three came together. We may well be nearing the end of mankind unless we can find a way to fight back. Malith's power is growing. The blighting is proof of that. The hounds also should have avoided our camp. Somehow they were driven into that area. Now I would appreciate it if you would keep it all to yourself for now. We wouldn't want to alarm anybody just yet. Sid, of course, knows my concerns. We haven't brought it up to the council yet, but when the time is right, we will. My hope now is that we can finally find a way to fight back. I will meet with Sid today and see what he thinks about a trip this far away from the city. Why don't you bring Elthan by my apartments later this evening after your evening meal, and we can discuss this fully.
I'm sure Elthan will want to go. He seems willing to do whatever it takes. I'm more interested in learning from this trip, but I want to do my part as well.
I am thankful to hear that. We will talk soon. Thank you all for agreeing to meet on such short notice. Before we get too far into discussion, Elthan and Jorun, I trust Besswin caught you up on everything?
Yes, he did quite a good job. You really did find out about the origins of Rorik's powers?
I believe so, but the text doesn't confirm it. This is a journal of sorts by a man named Dorian. Much like myself, he was seeking answers as to why the living seals existed and what their purpose was in this world. He writes about meeting Rorik after he was rescued from the Seekers, much as you all were. Rorik only had one ability at the time. He seemed to produce fire, much like Elthan, which we already knew. What is interesting was that he seemed to acquire more abilities after traveling to a location and coming back. Dorian seems to have taken more of an interest in him upon Rorik's return. He was also under the assumption that it was only natural for him to develop more abilities. He knew little about living seals other than someone like Rorik was born with the purpose of fighting the forces of evil. Well, I am more than a little intrigued that after traveling to this mysterious location, Rorik would have more abilities, especially the one that made his mere presence weaken the blighting around him. Sid and I have gone over the details, and it is possible for us to travel there. I will let him explain more.
I will be honest. When Garrem approached me about this idea, I thought he was asking for too much. Being out in the blighted lands for a month or more is quite risky anymore. There is a reason merchants from our city gave up trying. I'm sure there were not many other villages that had their own merchants, and many of the ones that traveled from one village to another are all but gone. Even those had fixed routes that did not take them away from a village for too long. We do have maps, very old maps, that include the one that Garrem has already shown you. We consulted this map and compared it to some of the old trade routes that had been used a very long time ago. Well, We think that we may have found a route that follows the ley lines of the map of espers, as Garrem has taken to calling it. A trip this long is bound to be dangerous, even with the protection that these routes provide. We will also not be able to bring enough food to last the whole trip. Food seems to spoil more quickly, and what we bring may not be edible by the time we return. This means we will need to find a place to resupply at some point. No one has traveled this route in a very long time. The villages mentioned on some of the maps may not even exist anymore. Garrem can correct me, but I believe many of these old maps came from one of the fallen cities. Since we cannot confirm that there will be a place to restock, I propose that we do a scouting mission first to ensure that we have a way to restock our supplies. Garrem seems to think that we should not delay, and it is worth the risk. Rather surprising for him.
I know it sounds risky, but for too long I've watched the blighting getting worse, watching it creep closer and closer to our city. Elthan is sure that it was worse in his village too. How many countless lives rest on us finding a solution to this problem? I don't think this will be the cure, but it is a start. It is the first solid lead we have had in ages. It is no coincidence that we have 3 living seals together. I shared this with Besswin this morning, but I am going to be honest with you all. I do not believe time is on our side any longer.
What do the 3 of you think? You all have a say in this matter if you're taking part in this journey.
I agree with Garrem. I'm no expert on any of this, but I feel the same way. Our village wasn't rationing food like Elthan's was, but I'm sure it would have been a matter of time. If Respatha is really the last true city, we can't afford to let it fall. I may not be able to go back to my village, but I still want to protect it as well.
I feel like I've been running ever since the Seekers first came for me. Elthan's words from our last meeting inspired me to rethink my outlook on things. I've carried a burden for too long. All those people that died for me so many years ago did so because of me. For so long, I felt it was my fault. But it was because they made a choice. They took a risk to protect me, and it ended badly. But it's time I see it for what it was, a sacrifice. I will no longer run from the grief I feel for their loss. I will honor their memories, and I will honor their sacrifice, and I will avenge them or die trying. The sooner we leave, the better.
Elthan, you've been quiet. Care to share your thoughts?
I agree with you both. While I don't think we should wait, I don't think we should rush blindly into this either. I think we should go as far as we can, but if our supplies dwindle too much, we should have the ability to make it back to Respatha. I want to stop Mouth as much as all of you, but we can't risk the cost of being stuck out in the blighted lands starving. What hope do we have to save humanity if we perish in the process?
Elthan, I'm surprised you're showing so much caution. You're right though, we really should have a way to make it back.
Ever since I confronted that hound, I've been thinking about what everyone said. I was reckless, and I got lucky. It could have ended much differently if I wasn't. We can't afford to be reckless.
Wise words, my boy. I admit I let my own zealousness cloud my judgment. What do you all think about what Elthan has proposed? We go as far as we can, but we have a plan for a return if things go poorly. It looks like we're all in agreement. Sid and I will take care of the necessary planning for our trip. Why don't the 3 of you make your arrangements as well?
It took a week for Sid and Garrem to get things ready. During that time, Besswin and I started spending more time getting to know Jorun. He seemed to be much more welcoming since our first meeting. He has taken us around to his favorite parts of the city and helped us find supplies that we will need for our journey. I continue to spend most of my mornings learning to fight from Sid. I have learned a lot from him. He even began to teach me how to fight unarmed. Jorun has even started to join us. Besswin still spends most of his days buried in books, learning everything he can about the history of the world around us. He can spend hours telling me all that he has learned. He and Garrem are more alike than they know. Tomorrow we leave the city and begin our journey. I can't say that I'm not a little nervous to be leaving again, but it finally feels like we're starting to do something meaningful. I can tell Besswin is nervous as well. He has checked his supplies 5 times now to make sure he is ready for this trip. As I lay in bed, I can't help but think that tomorrow will be the start to a journey that may bring more answers to us all. I just hope we don't run into more trouble. With that final thought, I drift off to sleep. I am standing in a room. A lazy haze floats through the air, and the ground is littered with small bits of debris. I can't see much more than 10 feet beyond where I'm standing. There's a mirror in front of me. From where I'm standing, I can't make out the image reflected in it. It seems blurry and distorted. As I move closer, the image comes into view. There's a young man standing in the mirror, but it isn't me. He moves as I move. I lift my left hand and he lifts his. As I hold my hand up with my palm facing towards me, he moves his in the same way. I slowly curl my fingers, and so does he in the exact same motions. Then his arm drops. Mine is still up. He is about the same height as me, with curly black hair. His eyes seem to know more than they should, and he begins to smirk.
It was only a matter of time before we found each other. Whether in the dream or the waking world, we were bound to meet. I have heard about you, you know. There were whispers on the wind of your coming, or should I say awakening. It was foretold, and now it has come to pass. Are the others with you?
Who are you? This is a dream. It is all in my imagination.
Oh, you are quite right. This is a dream. But I can assure you I am real as you, at least in the waking world. Who I am is of no consequence at the moment. You will know in time. Why can't I sense your presence?
What do you mean, sense my presence? What is this? Tell me who you are.
Well, at this point, I will learn no more than I have. I guess I will have to wait a little longer before you have enough potential for me to sense you. You have yet to fully awaken. I have waited a very long time. I can wait longer. There is no question, though. You are the one I seek, until our paths cross again.
I am left alone. The room is still empty, and the mirror is empty now too. I don't even see my own reflection, just the reflection of the room itself. That had to be a dream. What if it wasn't? What time is it? I wonder if Besswin is up yet. It looks like it's still dark. I don't want to bother him so early. Maybe I will just wait until later. I know I won't be able to go back to sleep. I might as well make sure I'm packed and ready to leave. We have traveled 3 days without incident. For this trip, we are traveling in a different direction than the last, but the land still looks the same. The more I have traveled in the blighted lands, the more I'm realizing that the blighting seems to stretch on forever. No wonder it's so hard to find other villages. The land looks the same everywhere. I also noticed that something about the land makes you feel a little disorientated. It's almost as if the land wants you to become lost. I can see why most people stayed in their villages. I still haven't figured out how Sid and the others navigate this land. I asked him yesterday and he said it was a skill that came with time, and there are landmarks to guide you if you know where to look. I still don't see what he's talking about, but maybe I just need more time. The day we left, I told Besswin about my strange dream that didn't feel like a dream. We both agreed we should wait to see if I have another before telling Garrem. Besswin seems to think it really was a dream. It is hard to explain how it felt to him, but he did agree that maybe because of our experience on our last trip, it may still be important. We still have a long way to go before we either reach the end of our journey or turn back. We have enough food to last us at least until we reach our destination. The hope is that we will be able to make it close to the halfway point of our journey, and if there is still people, restock. At the moment, everyone seems to have high hopes and good spirits. Garrem seems most excited. He checks in with us daily to see if the three of us have experienced anything new. He said we are not traveling on a large ley line, as he calls it, but he is curious if we feel anything. So far, Besswin is the only one that can sense anything, and he said what he does feel is faint compared to our last trip. Sid said once we find a suitable spot for the wagons, we will stop for the day.
Whoa there!
Elthan, why do you think we're stopping?
Why have we stopped?
We were wondering the same thing.
Let me find Sid and see if I can find out what is happening. This seems like the last place we would want to stop for the day.
I wouldn't care even if it was one of the council members. This doesn't seem right, and I have a bad feeling about it. You don't just get lost out here on your own. It isn't even possible. Willem, have some men fan out and check our flanks. If it is some kind of ambush, I want to know about it ahead of time.
Sid, I know it is highly suspicious, but if our men find nothing out there, she could be telling the truth.
You expect me to believe that someone who was a part of a merchant train got lost and has been out here in the blighted lands for as long as she claims and survived? No one's luck is that good.
It does seem highly suspect, but it may be possible. She seems like she may not be in her right mind. Maybe she is mistaken on how long she's been out here. Maybe she traveled from a nearby village.
Where is her horse then? She has no means of protection, no shelter.
What is the matter? Why'd we stop?
We came across a woman in the middle of the road. She hasn't told us much, but she claims to be part of a merchant caravan that traveled through here 4 months ago.
4 months? How is that possible? I didn't know there were even merchants still traveling.
That is what I mean to find out. Any word from our scouts? Are our flanks cleared? Well, hurry up and find out. We will not be caught off guard. The rest of you take positions until we get word that things are clear. Garrem, what do you propose we do with her if she is telling the truth? She could be dangerous. She could also be a spy. Have you thought of that?
If she were a spy, I doubt she would be out here alone. Our scouts would find a wagon or some form of mobile shelter if that was the case. If we find nothing, I think we should take her in. Have her guarded, of course, and I could see what we can learn from her. She may know safe routes to the nearest village if she was telling the truth.
Sid, our flanks are secured and we found no signs of other people. We left a few men out for a more thorough search like you requested, but there is no ambush. Thank you for that report. Let me know if you come across anything suspicious. I mean to find out how this woman stayed alive out here. I want men guarding her at all times until we are sure she is safe. I mean to find a safe place to camp before it gets dark. Take her to one of the wagons, see her needs are met, but keep an eye on her at all times. Something about all of this just doesn't feel right.
A Dirge of Espers is written and produced by Sanguinary Studios. Music provided by Dark Fantasy Studios and Fat Frog Music.